Is this the biggest breakthrough so far in the Ibrahima Konate contract saga? Let's break this down. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. There's something about the tone, the language, and the timing that makes this feel like more than just another routine interview. Because when Ibrahima Konate speaks right now, every word carries weight, and Liverpool fans will be clinging to every single one of them. With just 3 months left on his current deal at Liverpool, the situation has been edging towards uncomfortable territory. No extension agreed, no official breakthrough. And with giants like Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain circling, the narrative has been building. Is Konate preparing to walk away on a free? But now, suddenly, the story might be shifting. In a candid interview, Konate didn't speak like a man with one foot out the door. Quite the opposite. His words painted a picture of belief, patience, and most importantly, a future. Reflecting on a difficult season, the French defender didn't shy away from the criticism. Instead, he zoomed out. He spoke about evolution, about rebuilding, about the natural cycle of a team trying to reach the top again. And then came the line that will have set alarm bells ringing across Europe, but for very different reasons depending on where you're sitting. With time, we will win trophies. Not they, not the club. We. That one word changes everything, because players already planning their next move don't usually speak like that. They don't talk about long-term projects. They don't reference future success as something they'll be part of. But Konate did, repeatedly. He spoke about adapting with new teammates, growing together, staying patient, and trusting the process. This wasn't the language of uncertainty. This was the language of someone invested. And context matters here. Liverpool are in transition. New faces have arrived, chemistry is still developing, and expectations, after previous success, remain sky high. Konate acknowledged all of it. He pointed to the reality that even title-winning teams are built over time, reminding everyone that setbacks are part of the journey. It's a message that feels aligned with the club's long-term vision. And more importantly, it feels aligned with a player who still sees himself at the heart of it. Behind the scenes, talks are ongoing. There's no signed contract yet, but there's also no collapse. In fact, this situation is beginning to mirror previous negotiations involving key figures like Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah, where patience eventually led to positive outcomes. So, is this the breakthrough moment? Not officially, not yet. But in football, actions speak loudly, and words can speak even louder when the timing is this significant. Konate could have kept things vague. He could have distanced himself. Instead, he leaned in. And for Liverpool fans, that might be the biggest hint yet. Because if this truly was heading towards an exit, you'd expect silence, not statements about winning the Premier League or UEFA Champions League in the future. This story is far from over. But make no mistake, something has changed. The door isn't closing on Konate staying at Anfield. It might just be opening wider than ever. In other news, the name alone is enough to ignite excitement, stir nostalgia, and spark debate among supporters. But this time, the story takes an unexpected twist. Both Liverpool and Newcastle have reportedly set their sights on a player called Luis Suarez. Not Luis Suarez, the iconic former Liverpool forward who lit up Anfield alongside Lionel Messi at Inter Miami, but a different, lesser-known figure carving out his own path in European football. This emerging story centers around Sporting CP's Colombian striker, Luis Javier Suarez, who has quietly become one of the most prolific forwards on the continent this season. The 28-year-old has delivered a remarkable return of 33 goals across all competitions, including 5 in the UEFA Champions League, firmly placing himself on the radar of clubs searching for a clinical edge in the final third. According to reports from Portuguese outlet Correio da Manhã, both Liverpool and Newcastle United are showing intense interest in securing his signature, setting the stage for a potential Premier League battle. However, while the headline may capture attention, the substance behind it demands a more measured analysis. Suarez remains under contract at Sporting CP until 2030, with a reported release clause of £70 million, a figure that immediately raises questions about the feasibility of any deal. For Liverpool in particular, such a move would appear somewhat contradictory to their current squad structure. With established attacking options already at their disposal, the need for another central striker is not immediately obvious. That said, tactical evolution could shift the narrative. If Liverpool manager Arne Slot is indeed considering a transition towards a 4-2-2 system, the requirement for an additional forward becomes more logical. In such a setup, depth and variation in attack are essential, and Suarez's profile as a natural finisher could offer something different. Even so, he is not the only name under consideration. Yan Diomande of RB Leipzig has also been heavily linked, although his reported £86 million valuation may prove prohibitive, especially given his relatively short track record at the highest level. Compared to that, Suarez could represent a more proven, if still costly, alternative. What makes Suarez's rise particularly compelling is the journey that has led him to this point. Unlike many modern stars who burst onto the scene at a young age, his career has been defined by persistence and gradual progression. His early move to Watford from Granada CF failed to yield first-team opportunities, prompting a series of loan spells back in Spain as he searched for stability and minutes. Eventually returning permanently to Granada, he spent 2 seasons developing his game, registering 15 goals in 75 appearances. Solid, if unspectacular numbers. Our £8.5 million transfer to Olympique de Marseille in 2022 offered a new opportunity, but once again, he struggled to establish himself, making just 15 appearances before moving on. It was his subsequent switch to UD Almeria that proved to be the turning point. In Spain's Segunda Division, Suarez found his rhythm, scoring 27 goals in 41 games, and finally demonstrating the clinical instincts that had long been anticipated. That form earned him a move to Sporting, who were seeking a replacement for Victor Gyökeres following his departure to Arsenal. Since arriving in Portugal for just over £21 million, Suarez has thrived under Rui Borges, seamlessly integrating into a dynamic attacking system. Supported by creative talents such as Geni Catamo, Francisco Trincao, and Pedro Gonçalves, he has become the focal point of a fluid and dangerous front line. Standing at 6'1", Suarez combines physical presence with intelligent movement and composed finishing, traits that naturally attract Premier League interest. His performances in Europe, particularly in high-pressure Champions League fixtures, have only strengthened the case for a potential move. A clearer indication of his readiness for English football may come when Sporting face Arsenal in the Champions League quarter-finals. These fixtures will provide a direct comparison against Premier League opposition and a stage for Suarez to further enhance his growing reputation. For now, though, perspective is essential. Transfer speculation of this nature often thrives on narrative as much as substance. The idea of another Suarez arriving in England, particularly at Liverpool, is undeniably compelling, but the reality remains far less certain. Interest may be genuine and admiration well-founded. But as things stand, there is little concrete evidence to suggest that a deal is imminent. For all the intrigue and excitement generated by the name, this is a story still in its early stages, one that may yet evolve, but just as easily fade away as quickly as it emerged. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. We post all the latest Liverpool news every day, so join our fast-growing community so you never miss out. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.